Having completely destroyed the United States from within, with a Gestapo of an FBI and a Justice Department, rampant crime, open borders, disease, perversion pushed on kids in schools, demoralizing our military, both at home and abroad, we now see that the international situation is collapsing. We're on the verge of a potential nuclear accident, perhaps even a nuclear war. You see our allies abandoning us. Saudi Arabia, seeing that we're not a reliable ally, now cuts a deal brokered through China with Iran, if you can believe that, its mortal enemy. You've got France going to China today, or rather in the last few days, cutting a deal with President Xi, talking about great friendship, outflanking the United States. The United States is no longer the preeminent power in the world, as predicted, and this was actually quite a while this was predicted, that by 2025, China would become the world leader. It truly has. And then, of course, the weakness which is exhibited, allowing a Chinese surveillance balloon to go over our country for many, many days, if not weeks, not shooting it down, taking no action when the Russians shoot down a drone off of the coast of Ukraine. A brain-dead president who's now been exposed with an intelligence leak of knowing that Ukraine is likely to lose to Russia, yet still sending weapons over there, not enough to get the job done. By the way, whoever leaked this information, frankly, was a patriot. He's exposing exactly the lies and deceit and corruption inside of the Biden administration. Now, if he ever gets caught, he'll wind up doing life imprisonment. But it's clear that this was done to expose the duplicity and the criminality of the Biden regime, particularly in the Defense Department. Not only are there assessments in there about Ukraine's ability to defend itself with air defenses, but also that our so-called ally, Egypt, was about ready to send $50 million worth of equipment to Russia to use against Ukraine. This is someone, President Sisi of Egypt, that we have supported, and this was exposed. Now, it's interesting that the media is basically portraying this as somehow harmful to the United States. I don't advocate leaks. I don't advocate violating the law, but the fact that this got out is good because it exposes the complete corrupt nature of our Defense Department and the Biden regime. The country's going down the drain, not just domestically, but internationally. Our allies have been betrayed. We know that we're going to lose in Ukraine, despite all this, the billions of dollars that we put in there. And Biden is just going through the motions to say that he did something without actually helping the Ukrainians in a way that they can win the war. We're on the verge of China invading Taiwan. And what does Biden do? Sits around doing little to nothing, looking weak. Of course, he's bribed by the communist Chinese. He's not going to do anything. They've got more dirt on him and his son that can come out if he takes any action which is adverse to China. And that is why you must support Freedom Watch. Go to freedomwatchusa.org. Donate to our cause with tax-deductible contributions. We are trying Biden for his bribery from China, Russia, Ukraine. We are trying Biden for the negligent homicide resulting in the deaths of 13 GIs and innocent children in Afghanistan during that debacle, and we pulled out. We are trying Fauci for giving the seeds of COVID-19 to a Chinese military lab only to have it developed into a bioweapon, which escaped, which has now killed over 7 million people. Fauci is responsible for the death of more people than even Adolf Hitler in World War II. Negligent homicide at a minimum, and all the time enriching himself in the process. We're trying federal judges for violating their oath of office over January 6th. We have legal actions, class actions on behalf of the peaceful protesters of January 6th who are being put away in prison by these corrupt judges of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia and its corrupt appellate court, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. Yes, men and women of the establishment who got there, not over their ability, but over campaign contributions that greased the skids so they could be on the bench for the special interests that are their marionettes that control them. This country truly is corrupt to the core. Our so-called government is corrupt to the core. The American people are not corrupt to the core. And we can rise up peacefully and legally by going to freedomwatchusa.org, support our citizens' grand juries, support are throwing these criminals in prison peacefully and legally. And I'm talking about Biden and everybody else. Support forming a new government and not a new nation with ethical leaders, not the people that we have now on both sides of the political aisle, simply stuff money into their pockets, claim they're doing their jobs, but in fact are representing themselves and not we the people. And get my book, It Takes a Counter-Revolution, at freedomwatchusa.org. I discuss how we take our legal system back, how we mete out justice ourselves, how we form a new nation with new leaders, how we remove immunity from government officials and federal judges, how we hold them accountable, and how when they violate the law, they should be put in the slammer where they belong. We, the American people, must rise up now before it is too late. We're on the verge of a nuclear holocaust, either by accident or by design. This country has been living on borrowed time. If you care about your kids and grandkids, get up off the couch, turn off Sean Hannity, that's pure entertainment, and get to work. Join Freedom Watch at freedomwatchusa.org. Join our cause, join our Justice League, contribute to our cause. We need you. Uncle Sam needs you. Uncle Larry needs you. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. Until then, remember, the Father and Son will only help us if we help ourselves. Thank you for listening to me.